Thank you, Leslie. All right, I have 3:15 exactly on my phone, so I think we'll still just give it another maybe 30 seconds. You know that it'll still sometimes take a little bit of time for folks to find their way into the room. Right. All right, well, I know time is very tight, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our, I've lost track of which workshops block we are in, but it's going to be fantastic this afternoon. My name is Lauren Rabinowitz. I'll serve as your session facilitator. I'm joined by Leslie. She is going to be our technology host and is behind the scenes helping to make sure that everything runs smoothly for us. This session is being recorded. Hopefully you saw that button pop up. And transcription is available through the Zoom platform if that would be useful to you. If you have any questions whatsoever, whether it is about content, technology, anything, you can put that in the chat. We are all keeping a close eye on that. We also want to let you know before we begin that the views, policies, and opinions expressed in this presentation are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect those of SAMHSA or HHS. So that being said, I have the honor of passing this over to Angela Wilson. She will introduce herself and her colleagues who are going to be conducting this fantastic workshop. So thank you so much to everyone for joining. And over to you and the team, Angela.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited and delighted to be with you this afternoon to share with you Affirmed, Valued, Esteemed, Avenue to Equity in Early Childhood Education Workforce. I am Angela Wilson. I'm joined by Doctors Brenda Williamson and Dr. Valerie Jarvis McMillan. They're going to introduce themselves as we move on in our presentation. But as I'm speaking, I'll just let you know a little about myself. I am a life coach. I wear several hats actually. I am the owner operator of Esteemed Life Coaching. I'm an educational consultant. I'm also employed by the University of North Carolina at Charlotte and PBS-NC. So as I said, wear several hats, but the information that I'm sharing today is that comes from Esteemed Life Coaching. My co-presenters are going to introduce themselves in the order that you see them pictured.
Thank you, Angela, and good afternoon. So excited that you have chosen our session. I am Brenda K. Williamson, an educational consultant with 36 years in the field of education from various positions, but really wanting to be impactful in the lives of children and their family in conjunction with my adult learners. I am adjunct instructor at Durham Technical Community College in Durham, North Carolina, in the Early Childhood Education Program. Also, I am conducting research on strategies and techniques to reduce or eliminate the suspension and expulsion of Black preschool age children. Again, I am so thrilled to have you with us, and I'm going to now turn it over to Dr. Valerie Jarvis McMillan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brenda and Angela. And good afternoon, everyone. I am Valerie Jarvis McMillan. I am, I would say, a seasoned early childhood professional of about 35 years, from a journey of a preschool teacher to a kindergarten teacher to a researcher to now an associate professor at North Carolina A&T State University, where I teach at the undergraduate and graduate programs in our child development and family studies, early childhood education, birth through kindergarten program, And I'm also currently the interim chair of the Department of Family and Consumer Sciences, where the program is actually housed. Like my colleague, Dr. Brenda, as we intimately called her, I am also looking at suspension, expulsions, and exclusionary practices of young children in early care and education. I currently serve as the lead project investigator for that particular issue across the state of North Carolina. So I'm excited to present with my colleagues today, Angela and Brenda.
Thank you so much to both of you. As we move along, let's just take a look at what this session is going to cover today. First of all, we're going to spotlight overlooked issues and concerns that adversely impact educator burnout, mental health, retention, and overall teaching performance of early childhood personnel who identify as Black, Indigenous, people of color. We'll describe the benefits of building emotional capacity and self-efficacy through personal life coaching services. We'll also discuss a paradigm shift in the early care and education system with focus and responsitivity to equity, personal and professional development. We call that P&PD in the workforce. And then we'll look at what roles and services are covered by a life coach. Dr. Valerie, you have prepared a case study for us to share today as an icebreaker. Take us into that, please.
I certainly will be happy to. So I am going to read a case study that gives a summary of a life of an early childhood educator within our field. Her name is Monique. So I invite you to listen in carefully and listen to her experiences in this case study. Here we go. Monique is a preschool educator in a community-based license program. She enjoys working with young children and their families. Currently, she is enrolled in a degree-seeking program in which she attends night classes 2 days during the week. Also, she cares for an elder mother who lives with her. On Wednesday night after class, she stayed up late to complete an assignment. As she was getting ready to travel to work on the next day, she discovered she had a flat tire. She had to change the tire on her car, but she still made it on time to work. Upon her arrival in the classroom, a parent approached her about his daughter's fall on the playground and scarred her knee and tore her leggings. He was very upset. He raised his voice at her, and this made Monique very uneasy. By the end of the day, Monique was very tired. However, she was off to her second job that she worked 3 nights during the week. I'm going to stop there. Hopefully, you can reflect back on that case study. So, what type of emotions do you think Monique or other early educators like herself may experience at the end of their work day? If you would like to unmute your mic and share your thoughts about the types of emotions, please share. If you would like to put them in the chat, please do that too. We do have some people that are monitoring the chat. So, reflecting on that case study, unmute your mic or put in the chat at least some emotions that you think Monique or an early educator may experience at the end of their workday.
Dr. Val, we have Cassandra, who has said a sense of hope, frustration, underappreciated.
A sense
Debbie,
of hope, yes.
Mhm. Okay, well, now the chat is moving on me, so I'm not sure who said this. Exhausted, devalued, hopelessness, I think was the word. Frustrated, I see come across, overwhelmed, exhausted, drained.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Someone is saying, I know of them from talking with two daughters about, okay, it moved again, worried, confused, what to do next, hopeful for the next day goes better.
Oh my.
Angry, worried. And I'm going to stop there because I'm not sure. Again, I know our time is constantly moving, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing come in the chat.
Thank you, Dr. Brenda, for reading those emotions that were in the chat. And from what I heard, and if I could summarize, there is a range of emotions that I heard in the chat that range from hopelessness to hope to frustration to tiredness and more.
Yes.
The rest of our presentation is going to highlight a lot of the emotions that Dr. Brenda read in the chat that you actually put there. Thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate that.
So now let us take a deeper look into the lasting impacts of COVID-19 pandemic. We know, in particular here in North Carolina, there has been a shortage of early care and education teachers. But those who are still out there in the field working, they are overworked, overwhelmed, and a lot of the descriptors that you all put in the chat. The COVID-19 stressors has taken a toll on teachers' mental health, particularly Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. A study conducted by Hush in 2021 found that women teachers and other workers have a much more high symptoms of mental health problems than their male counterparts. Burnout occurs when passionate, committed people, educators, become disillusioned from a job or a career that they previously have derived so much of their identity and their purpose in being in this profession. Again, the words that you all listed truly have been impactful from the scenario case study read by Dr. Val as well. And at this time, we're going to move on to the next slide, Dr. Val. Yes, yes, and yes, this struggle is real. Tout shares that job stress, burnout, and depressive symptoms are common as one seeks to balance home, work, and community life. Depressive symptoms can include a greater irritability, less support for children's emotional and behavioral development. Research has done a lot of quantitative methods to get a numerical statistics of how we are looking at various situations. However, we decided to take a twist and look at it from a qualitative, where we would have educators along with administrators to have their voices heard. Dr. Val is going to get ready to keep up this video titled Stories from the Field, where we will hear from the teachers and administrators how COVID-19 has impacted their lives being in the field of education. As you watch this clip, we want you to record notes of where you would embed for these voices the opportunity to affirm, validate, and esteem these educators. Listening ears are on, and Dr. Val, we are waiting for you to play stories from the field.
Here we go.
COVID-19, as I stated before, has caused a lot of stress on teachers. What happens is when your teachers are in their classrooms and they're, supposed to be teaching, supposed to be implementing their lesson plans and their activity plans, if they're stressed out and their emotional well-being is not where it needs to be, they cannot accurately do their job as they are supposed to. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of, is they're very, very overwhelmed, they're stressed out, and they just need some encouragement to push them along the way.
Overwhelmed at least once a month, I would say. That's just about how often I feel kind of overwhelmed, when I can't get to the root of the problem, or I have state standards coming at me, licensing standards coming with me, the administration at my job, and then I have those trying behaviors or things going on within the classroom that just has to go on. And then I still want to enjoy my job. So it's a stressor to have all these standards to reach, and then trying to still enjoy the job while I started it in the first place, because I love children.
I know a lot of people say, leave work at work and home at home. But we're all human. And sometimes those things do integrate. I lie in bed sometimes at night, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I want to do this activity, I want to do that, or I forgot to put in this anecdotal, let me get up and do it right now before I forget. And the same thing, at work. I can be at work and I can think, oh my goodness, I need to do this because I don't get off until this time, and this happens at home. Yes, it's just like, you develop a child holistically. You don't single, one thing out.
If I could wave a magic wand to provide teacher support, one of the things I would do is to have free professional development for teachers. I know professional development does come with a cost, but that's the number one reason why most teachers don't attend, because they do not have the adequate funding to participate. Sometimes the company will pay for it, but most of the time, teachers are required to pay for it out of their own pocket. So that would be one. A second one would be more mental health resources. I know mental health is a big awareness, and self-care as well is a big awareness that we are now moving into. So providing more support and resources for that, again, free of cost, so that way they can have adequate resources.
Lend the encouragement, because a lot of the times we aren't encouraged. Nobody's here to push us forward. So sometimes just that little, oh my God, you're just a wonderful teacher, or you can do this. I think it's awesome, the creative ideas that you come up with. And then that can pique your interest and kind of motivate you and push you up on those days when you're down. Because sometimes every day is not an up day. It's like a roller coaster, especially in this field. And every day, every minute, it changes. And so someone's saying, oh, you can do it. If you want to go to that next level in your education, you can do it. Or you can succeed with anything you're doing. And that's a big thing for me.
After that's all said and done and we filled the kids' cups up, who's going to fill our cups up? Who's going to keep us going? Who's going to let us know, that we appreciate you? We thank you for doing these things with these kids. What can we do to make sure you're pouring from a full cup? And so I think that is our biggest thing in the school, of just showing, just saying thank you. A thank you goes a long way. It makes a teacher feel appreciated.
Just showing your teachers that you care from an administrator's standpoint. A lot of times, that's the reason why people leave, is because they don't have that support from their superiors or from their administrators. So what I do as an administrator is always show them that I care, even if it's just a simple card, a hug, a high five, just a pat on the back, just saying you're doing a great job. Just little acts of kindness like that will show how much you care for your teachers. And when they see that, they are more likely to retain at your center. And not only that, but caring for their well-being as well. I know a lot of times stress is the number one reason why teachers leave out of the profession, is because they are stressed out, they're burnt out. So there are so many ways that I actually tackle that and try to help teachers not be so stressed. And one of the ways I do that is by helping them in their classrooms. I know a lot of times when they are in there, I mean, it's so much going on. COVID has really played a big part in this as well. So just going in, helping your teachers out, just maybe telling them, you know, you just take a break, I'll take over for your classroom for the time being, and you just take a break and come back whenever you're ready. So whenever you do that and just show them that they're appreciated, show them that you care, you're more able to retain your teachers.
I feel as if the life coach would be a great asset to have, even to help a teacher in their personal life. If they're going through challenging things at home, to even uplift them, to give them that positive reminder that you're going to get through this. You know, I know that these things might come in life, but to have that person that you can talk to, cry to just remind you that even while you're going through this storm, it's going to be sunlight at the end of this tunnel.
Sounds like that video was quite the success. A participant asked if they could have a recording of that video. Is that something we can share with participants?
May we get back to you with an answer to that question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Cassandra will let you know.
But we'd love to ask. That is so awesome, because maybe that is landing exactly where we want professionals in the field who work with young children and their families to hear the stories from our early childhood professionals who are working with children. And so we want to give you an opportunity to kind of, give us some reflective comments, some feedback as a follow-up to that video. There's a question that's on the screen, and it says, how can we promote equity in early childhood education and help educators as well as other professionals in the field feel affirmed, valued, and esteemed while enhancing their own mental health and wellness? So let's take a moment, because we want to give you an opportunity to kind of give us some comments about the video. If you're like me, I absolutely love the statement that the early childhood teacher said, that who's going to fill our cups? They had that strong, serious responsibility of filling the cup of our young children on a daily basis, and the families that parent them as well. But who is filling their cup? I love that statement. I just had to say that. I love that statement. So feel free to unmute your mic or put some comments in the chat in response to the question and or the video. I can't see if anything is in the chat, so someone prompt me, please.
Yeah, I'll come off mute and say something. Just to the point of the filling of cups, that one of the teachers also made the point about, like, how do we balance and hold all of these expectations and standards, and also get back to like why we got into this profession, and it's the love for kids. And I'm just thinking about the like back and forth cup filling that can happen in that relationship of like the teachers' cups being filled by the kids and their joy of working with them, but that we get in the way with all of these like standards and expectations. So yeah, that's kind of what came to mind.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for unmuting your mic and making that comment, because I agree with you that, that back and forth cup filling is what's important. Teachers get that cup filling from their interaction with the children, but that may not be enough. We also have to have intentional ways from administrators and support systems to fill the cups of our early educators and other professionals that work with young children. and their families that parent them. Yes, I see.
Dr. Valerie, we do have some raised hands.
Yes, I see that. I see, is it Sylvia?
Yes, hi, Sylvia Morales.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking, giving them voice, right? Opportunities where they can have a voice to what they want at their center, how they learn best, and following up on that. So anyone who has a leadership role to ensure that their staff is feeling heard and validated for the work that they're doing and validated for sharing of their ideas. And then, supporting those that are their directors there and ensuring that their directors have opportunities to share with their staff. So that, because each, like for me, where I work, I am providing trauma-informed care and practice coaching for teachers in early Head Start and home visitors. And the work, so we have several centers throughout our area, and each center has its own community. And so it's very diverse. And so we can't come up with one general way of addressing it. We have to really support a process of, like, this is a family here, and how you are here many hours. What are you needing? What are you seeing? What can we support you with? And following through with everything that we say we're going to do for them. And so the work has been baby steps, right? And in doing so, for those centers that are feeling safe enough to say, this is not okay for us, this isn't working for us, we need more of this and we need more of that, and being able to meet their needs is, I'm starting to hear it. Thank you for having my back. It makes a big difference. I'm beginning to feel passionate about my work again. And so to hear that, for me, I just get goosebumps all over, and I'm like, yeah, it's starting to work.
Yeah. And that's the point, I guess, the pathway that we are wanting to get to for all early educators and other professionals who are supporting early educators to get to, right? That we want to create opportunities in safe places where they'll feel brave enough, right, to voice their concerns and express what their needs, their cares, their interests, and their wants are. And that there are administrators who are opening to hearing those expressions of their needs, so they could feel affirmed and valued and esteemed in the work that they're doing with young children. That's extremely important. And, supporting their families that parent the young children. Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. I thought I saw another hand. So Brenda, Linda, and Angela, please help me. I can't really see it because my screen has the slide up front. Is there another hand that's up?
I'm not able to see another hand, but
I know it was.
Okay.
I had my hand up, but I think everything that I was reflecting on has already been said, just around that intentionality and giving space for hearing, the difficulties and challenges. And, I think recognition is great, and giving kudos is, might be helpful in a lot of ways. And yet the reality of the day-to-day work is so heavy. And so not only committing the time for those spaces, but then creating those spaces to really be able to hear, their true experiences. And I loved how you said, affirming, affirming spaces.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for unmuting your mic, Debbie, and sharing your comments and your feedback as well. Thank you.
Not sure if you saw, there's a couple great comments in the chat.
I can't see them, so would you like to share them for us, Lauren? Thank you.
Yeah, so I will read this comment from Dylan. Also, just thinking of the multiple levels of influence. There are ways of affirming and valuing teachers day to day in relationships by offering encouragement and support, And there's also a need for macro level advocacy for fair compensation and benefits for
Yes.
ECEs.
Yes, I can say ding, ding, ding on that one because that's the
I would,
number one aspect that we really need to work on as a system. Yes.
yeah, I'll share. There's a few more in here. I know time is tight, but I'll just I'll share this one as well. Cassandra said that when schools when schools score high, the higher ups receive the credit. When they're scored low, it's the teachers that receive the blame. They want to be valued with words, encouragement, and simple things, not pizza or Coke or annual holiday parties. That was really very
Wow. Now that's a powerful statement. Wow. That is one that really tells the real core of what actually has been happening for a really long time. So thank you for reading that, Lauren. That's a powerful statement. Yes. I know we could probably go on and on and on, but let's move on to our next slide. Angela, is that okay? We go on to kind of talk a little bit more about how we can affirm and support our early educators and other professionals.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Val. I mean, the feedback, the comments were amazing. As we move on with our presentation, just to touch on one of these models that we use, one of the tools that we use in the early childhood field that many of us know and recognize is the Cephal pyramid model. And as you know, just for the brevity of time, we'll just skip right on to what we want to say about this. At the base of the pyramid is the effective workforce. We really have to look at the systems and policies that are necessary to attract, secure, and retain a workforce that adopts, implements, and sustains all evidence-based practices that we deem to be necessary for children to grow and develop. The neighboring tier of that is nurturing and responsive relationships. And we know how important those are. We have to understand that aside from a teacher feeling good about herself and having the skills that she needs to be able to share with children, it's hard for her to give something that she doesn't have. So we need to provide those opportunities for teachers to develop some of those skills or even practice some of the skills that they have so that they truly become proficient in nurturing and being responsive to children and building relationships. High stress levels in the early childhood classrooms that we're seeing and that we heard talked about even on the video can prohibit a child from growing and developing socially. So we absolutely have to have some methods in place to try and measure the stress and then moving forward, doing something about it. So Dr. Brenda, talk to us a little bit about burnout and stress levels in classrooms.
So what I would like to share now with you all is a tool developed by Dr. Christina Maslock, which is called the Maslock Burnout Inventory. It's approximately 22 items that you will answer looking at your occupational burnout. And within this, as you can see on the screen, there are 3 dimensions of burnout, which are the emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and personal accomplishments. Please note, and I want to give this as a disclaimer, this is not a tool that you can use to say, yes, I am burnt out 100%. It is a tool just to give you some insight, and if you feel that you are truly needing more assistance, seek out professional help. But this is just to give you an indicator of whether or not you may be burnt out as a part of your job responsibilities and duties. You see the source down there. It's a PDF file. You can take it, bubble in the answers, and see where you range. But also keep in mind that it will depend upon the day and what you've gone through for your results to be shared as well. So this is just a tool that we wanted to share with you. But again, please seek out professional help. And at this point, Angela is going to truly give us more in-depth of life coaching. And you have given some examples that you may not have even thought about. So Angela, let's take us a little bit deeper in that area, please.
Thank you again, Dr. Brenda. So taking a look at personal and professional development, P and PD is what we would really like for you to take away from this presentation. P and PD. We all know about professional development. That's the only way that we're able to keep moving forward in our professions. But we think that it's really important that personal development also be addressed and become a part of even the annual requirements for teachers as they are receiving CEUs. We've created a tiered coaching model that I hope will make sense to you and be something, again, that you'll hold on to. So the three levels of the coaching pyramid, at the top, you'll see therapy. Therapy is where teachers are receiving or individuals are receiving deeper levels of intense support that goes beyond just addressing a symptom, but really dealing with specific emotional and mental maladies. Then there's the middle tier, which is counseling. Counseling is done by also, and I did not mention qualified licensed professionals, of course, are doing the therapy, but also with counseling. In addition, with counseling, often sessions can be done in group sessions or with individuals just on a one-on-one basis. But the tier we really want to talk about is the base tier, life coaching. Life coaching can be offered by certified life coaches who help teachers to develop in personally and support teachers as they are enhancing their self-awareness, self-esteem, self-efficacy, and promoting emotional literacy with a growth mindset. Kind of think of it this way. This is the example that I like to leave with you. If a child takes a tumble and falls, if they have a really deep cut as a result of that tumble, you're going to need to seek out medical assistance. They'll probably have to have stitches, and there's that whole process that they'll go through. Maybe they fell and just scrape their knee. Doesn't need stitches, but it's going to need some attention. So someone will possibly clean it up and maybe bandage it for them. But then maybe the child just tumbled and there was no harm to their body at all. Maybe all they need is a hug just to reassure them and say, you're going to be okay. That's really kind of what life coaching is. It's someone to come alongside that teacher and give that level of support that, again, is just very basic. I want to share this with you very briefly. My father, who just turned 94 last week, is the builder of 3 houses. He built them from ground up. The first house that he built, he actually dug the basement by hand. I mean, that's the kind of man he is. But the last house that he built, I was old enough to help out some. And I was so excited because in my mind, we're building a house. So I'm thinking it's going to be done during the summer vacation. It took weeks and weeks for him to get the foundation right. And I remember going to him and being really upset and saying, you know, I thought we were going to build a house. And he explained to me, and this is something I've never forgotten. He said, if the foundation isn't right, the rest of it won't be right. And isn't that something that maybe we can take away today? Think about the foundation. Think about the foundation of what needs to happen with children and their development, and those adults who are in those classrooms helping to make sure that that development occurs. So as we move along, let's look a little more closely at life coaching. So what is life coaching? May I first of all say life coaching is not therapy. It is not therapy. Life coaching promotes positivity. It's support for capacity building and for personal growth. It provides that safe space that Dr. Val was talking about earlier, a place where teachers can own their emotions honestly and openly without fear of judgment or punitive responses. It's a place where, or person where, a teacher can go to when life happens. Things just happen. If there's a flat tire and it has you all flustered before you get to work, kind of like Monique, some of those things that she was experiencing, she didn't really need a therapist, but just to have somebody to talk to certainly would have helped her. Life coaching is a listening ear. It's somebody that comes alongside you, as I said, and just is a sounding board for some of those life experiences. It's important to remember that coping skills are learned behaviors. Sometimes we take for granted that the adults who are in classrooms are emotionally strong and capable of handling every type of stress that they encounter, but that's not always the case. As indicated in the video that we saw earlier, often educators welcome the presence of someone who can support them through simple intrapersonal and interpersonal issues. As we move along, Dr. Valerie talked to us about the paradigm shift that needs to occur.
Dr. Val, you're muted. I know you're giving wonderful, great information, but you're muted.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Angela and Brenda. And we have definitely laid the foundation for the reason, the push, the movement. You have provided us excellent comments and feedback also to lay the foundation and the groundwork for this movement toward a need for a paradigm shift. So as we think about filling the cups of our early childhood professionals, we have to think about doing that as a system in incorporating personal and professional development. So it's not just about the practices that teachers implement with children and families, but we have to care about the whole early childhood professional, the whole early childhood educator, and looking at their personal and professional development. So it's a time for a shift in our early childhood systems to start thinking about the holistic approach as it relates to our early childhood professionals. And so there are many systems when you think about that focus on the care, education, service, and support of children and their families. And so those systems such as Head Start, Early Head Start, Department of Public Instruction, Child Care Resources and Referrals, Smart Start, Partnerships for Children, other systems across the country, such as National Association for the Education of Young Children, and other early childhood sectors across the country and internationally, may need to start coming together and looking at a systems approach in supporting the whole early childhood professional in intentionally providing personal and professional development. So there is a set of standards that actually has started to look at that. And it's called the Model Workforce Standards, which were published in 2019. The Model Workforce Standards describes a high-quality work environment for early childhood educators in a center-based childcare program, but it definitely can transition into other spaces that care for, educate, and support young children and their families as well. You see there are 9 standards that's listed on the screen. For sake of time, I'm not going to read them all, but I do want to highlight the one that really underscores what we focus on today, and that's the personal and professional development of early childhood professionals. And that's number 9, health, safety, and physical setting. And there is an indicator under that standard, which is 9.11, which says the program provides in-service training for staff on management of stress and other issues relating to physical, emotional, and mental well-being. It is so exciting to see that there are a set of standards that's out there now that's looking at helping with this paradigm shift, to not just focus on practices that teachers implement, but also to look at management of stress and other issues relating to physical, emotional, and mental well-being of our early childhood educators and early childhood professionals who support them. So I encourage you, if you have an opportunity to look up these standards, they're called the Model Workforce Standards. It is a great resource. Angela, take us away as we get an opportunity to wrap up what we've discussed today.
I guess you don't need my 5-minute warning. You were right on it.
Yes, well, we'll wrap up with our and what we're going to do.
Angela, I'm so sorry. Make sure you get close to your mic. You're going a little bit in and out for us. Thank you.
Is better? Yeah, okay. All right. So
I'm sorry. Maybe a little closer.
While Angela's getting closer to her mic, and I know we have about 4 minutes left, can we just open it up for Q&A? Because I really would like, if questions are out there for more information about life coaching and something that we've spoke on, that we take the last 4 minutes, if that's okay, ladies?
Yes.
While Angela is working with her mic and audio to ensure that the recording definitely has her voice and her values of what she's speaking out about in affirming us.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, please unmute yourself or type it in the chat, and we will do our very best in addressing it or getting back with you with the answer. And we thank you all so very much for your attentiveness on the topic. Sylvia said she is wondering about the criteria, Angela, for becoming a life coach. It's still not working, Angela. While you're still working on that, Dylan also has put in the chat, do you have ECE programs that provide pay for life coaching for their educators? So what's criteria of becoming a life coach, and there's some ECE programs that provide or pay for life coaches for educators?
I'm going to try the mic in my laptop. Is this any better? Well, there we go. Okay, I had an external mic. All right, so we'll start with the qualifications for life coaching. Right now, from what I understand and what I've read, there are many different agencies that do certifications, but because it is not regulated, you can get a certification from many different places. So that's as much as I can share there. With regards to who is funding life coaching, that's a part of what Dr. Val talked about with the need for a paradigm shift. We feel like this is something that needs to be a part of what every teacher is available to every teacher. They have access to life coaching. And of course, it's if they desire to participate, then it's there for them. Okay. I know that's really brief, but I'm trying to stay in our time.
Yeah, 1 more minute. So as I'll take liberty to say, we may have one more question that we could address. Okay, Sylvia said, thank you, Angela, for the information on what criteria are in becoming a life coach. That may be a way for us to actually say thank you so very much with the child coming in and expressing, I hope, their enjoyment of our presentation. Cassandra said, great information shared throughout. Thank you, Cassandra, so very much. And do we have the last slide of the resources, Dr. Val? I'm trying to remember next. I put my papers away. Okay. So just in case you all want to reference more information that we did impart in our conversations, and I know at times you may have felt that we were kind of rushing through it so we can stay within the time frame. And I see now it is time for us to say goodbye. So I don't know if Lauren, you want it back or not.
I just would love to take an opportunity to say thank you so very much for such a fantastic presentation, and thank you to everyone for joining. This was a really active, wonderful group of individuals, and I know I learned a lot, and I trust you all did as well. So thank you so much. Take a nice little break before our last session of the day coming up shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Leslie for the tech.
everyone.